So welcome back to the finishing line. So I'm joined again today by Tom from betupin.com. So we're going to go through all of the weekend's main races from Saturday and Sunday from Haydock and Newbury and Fairyhouse. So we're going to start off with the Ladbroke Chase. So the market is Thomas Patrick 4-1, Elegant Scape 9-2, Miss Pafwa 9-2, Dingo $7, the Young Master 10s and 11-1 bar. So Tom, take us through.
Thanks, Andrew. It's a competitive race. There's only 14 runners. It's the shortest, the smallest field in the Hennessy for a good while now, but it's not a great race, as in, if we look at some of the past winners, we've had Denman, Native River last year. I don't think we've got a Gold Cup horse in here. Ken Boy would have obviously been very interesting if he'd have got the ferry over. He was on a rate of 161. If he could have won off of that, he'd have put himself in a Gold Cup picture. He'd have fought. It's a really competitive race. I went through this last night, and I could pick out 4 or 5 or maybe even 6 of them to give a chance to. Thomas Patrick, lovely improving horse. He won at Aintree last year. He was second behind Elegant Scape at Sandown on a seasonal reappearance. He's got a clear-cut chance. Tom Lacey, who trains him, is a fantastic trainer. Does really, really well with a small bunch of horses. He's very short, isn't he? He's 4-1, 7-2 now. He has an obvious chance. Elegant Escape has an obvious chance. We were looking yesterday at the Sam Crow, his point-to-point win, and Elegant Escape was second to him as point-to-point at Monk's Grange. It was a proper 4-year-old maiden.
A good one for once.
Yeah, Miss Parfar again has a very good chance. She's had a wind up since her last run. She's gone well fresh before, I think. She's got a good chance. The Young Master's been rejuvenated this year.
He's been very good since he came back.
Yeah.
Changed tactics.
Something seems to click to him this year. Neil Mahon's has done a good job to get him in this kind of form. He's got a lovely weight of 10 stone 8. If he came back to his form of a couple of seasons ago, he'd have a good chance. Americane under Anya O'Connor would have a very good chance. Big opportunity for her. Black Corton, if I was going to have a bet, he'd be my bet each way. He always seems to run his race, really consistent. Lifetime best off of 11 stone 12, no doubt, he'd need. But he's got a very good chance. He's always consistent. He'd have a good chance off of a top weight in Hennessy. It's going to be hard to do.
Yeah.
But he goes very well in every run, really. What do you think?
I went through it. I've spent about a half an hour on it last night. I was jumping between horses. I landed on 2 that interest me. Before the betting came out, when Ken Boy was left in, I was interested in Miss Pafwa because she was a 10, 12-1 shot at then. I was looking through it as well, and I was going through all her form. There's 9 confirmed frontrunners are up at the pace.
Okay.
So there's going to be no shortage of pace. They're going to go flat out. And the one that I landed on, if that happens, is Beware the Bear, trained by Nicky Henderson.
I'm just looking at him now. Yeah, wind up since his last run. 3 pieces on first time.
He ran in the 3-mile handicap chase that Cool Star Savola won at Cheltenham, and he dropped out like a fly. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, coming down the straight, here he appears. I think if the wind up's after working, he looked like he started sulking when he missed 1 or 2. So if he gets his confidence up, if he's ready to go, I think he could run a huge race of 16-1.
Yeah.
So if I was to have a bet, I'd probably land on Beware the Bear at 16s for an each way show.
Yeah, he's a pretty good record fresh as well, that lad. And she said ran very well at Cheltenham at the festival.
I'd forgive his run in the Scottish National.
Yeah, he's down £2 from that. Again, it's really open.
It's an open race.
He's a very good. He's a chance as well.
At the prices, Miss Pafwa, she's tough. She ran a cracker in the 4-miler. She's going to stay all day.
Yeah.
Herself and Rathvinden pulled 20 odd lengths clear of Size in Tennessee in 3rd.
Yeah.
So on that form, I came down to the 2 of them. But at the prices, Beware the Bear, I'd roll in with.
A good chance. So in an open Hennessy,
Beware the Bear.
Beware the Bear. So and I'd give I'd give Black Cordon an each way chance. Two
nice prices.
Two nice prices, and we'll see what happens.
In an open one.
A very open race.
So that wraps up the Ladbroke Chase. So next we're going to go through the Fighting Fifth hurdle. So the betting for the Fighting Fifth is Bouverdere 6-5, Samcrow 7-4, Somerville Boy 4s, Bedrock 16, Vision de Flow 33s, and Blue A Rouge 150-1. So Tom, take us through again.
It's an open race. It's an absolutely cracking race. It's got to be the best Fighting Fifth I can remember anyway. These three at the top of the market, Bouverdere, Samcrow and Somerville Boy, you wouldn't be surprised. Like, they're all potential champion hurdlers. You'd expect to see them all there in March. It's going to be a fascinating race. Samcrow might have the fitness edge. He's had a run under his belt. Bouverdere is off 263 days, but he's had a wind up since his last run, which has been interesting. Somerville Boy again for a start of the season. Then we get down to Bedrock, who obviously beat Samcrow last time. That race was a bit set up for him, I think. Sharjah and Samcrow took each other on from a long way out. Bedrock was there to pick up the pieces. Could he go and beat Samcrow again?
Probably not. However,
one's 14-1 and one's 2-1.
Exactly.
So again, this probably isn't a betting race for me. I'll put that out there straight away. You've then got Vision de Flow, who won the Golf Standard over Bumper, I think, before being bought. And then you got Blue A Rouge, who's interesting. He's moved from Willie Mullins to Ben Haslam. So it's an open race. If I was to come down on one, I would probably, at the prices, I'd take a shot on Bedrock. I'm not saying I will back him, I won't. But at the prices, I would probably take a punt on him. What do you think, Andrew?
For 14s for beating Samcrow, there's a huge price difference in the two of them. I know, as you say, it was probably set up for him.
Yeah.
But he's always promised to be a decent enough hurdler. And you wouldn't put he could be just improving, a late bloomer.
Yeah.
And
he looks like he's improving.
Yeah. And he could be just coming to the stage where he's finally finding his proper form. He was second behind Bouverdere in the entry grade 1 2-3 years ago when trained for Dan Skelton. So I won't put it past him at 14s. As Tom said, I won't be having a bet this race at all. But if I was to land on someone, I can't look past Bouverdere. He's unbeaten first time out. As Tom said, he's had a wind up. He's by miles has the best 2 mile form. The rest of them have to step up to his level to beat him. So 6-5, it's skimpy, but how many times do you get 6-5 on a reigning champion hurdle first time out?
Yeah, and Samcrow kind of has to prove he can do it. He beat the novices last year. I said in our jumps preview for the season, I am convinced he probably wants a bit further than this, or at minimum he wants a very, very strongly run race. Will this be? I don't know if they'll want to go and kill themselves first time out now for the season. But Bouverdere, he was one of my horses to follow. The dual champion hurdler, he might just be vulnerable this time. I think if he goes and wins this, and he could even win it well, as in by a length or two after his wind up, he's going to get very short for Cheltenham in March. He's going to get very, very short for that champion hurdle. Somerville Boy's a fascinating one. He was impressive. He was impressive last season. He obviously beat Klashnikov in the Supreme Novices. That was on heavy ground. He's only had one run on good to soft ground where he got beaten.
He seems to need bit of cut in the ground.
Is a bit of cut in the ground. Key to him. It's good to soft tomorrow. We'll find out. I wouldn't want to say for now that definitely is key to him, but
and his jumping needs to improve big time.
Yeah, his jumping needs to pick up. Again, the pressure's on him and Samcrow. Bouverdere's proven an open company. They're 2 novices stepping up. There's a bit of pressure on them tomorrow. It's going to be a fascinating race to watch, and it's going to give us lots of pointers.
I'd say the most pressure now is on Gordon Elliott with Samcrow. If this is the next coming, he has to win this. If he's any chance in champion hurdle, he has to win this tomorrow. Yeah,
he's got it to prove. He's got to step up out of novice company. Can he do it? We'll see. We'll find out tomorrow. I think they were a bit sad or whatever that he didn't stand up in the race at Punchestown, because I think they were relying on that to give them an indicator. Do they go down the champion hurdle route or do they go chasing with him? Unfortunately, he fell that day. He probably needs to sharpen up his jump in a small bit as well. Sticky. But we'll forgive him the seasonal reappearance,
as you would all horse.
And tomorrow is going to be very informative. It's a cracking race. It's a proper race.
Whatever way I look at him, I still don't think he's a 2 mile hurdler. I really don't think he has the pace.
No, I just think he's a very good horse. He was probably getting away with it last season because he was much better than the rest of the novices. I think his future will probably lie over further. I just think he's a very, very good horse. But we'll find out if they go down this route. Be interesting to see if he does get beaten tomorrow, what they'll do. Will they persist with him, or will they go chasing halfway through the season? Interesting one to see what happens.
If he gets better, I can see him going over the fences.
Yeah.
If you can't beat the reigning champion hurler first time out when you've had a run under your belt,
you've had a run. Yeah, I agree.
Is there a point pursuing it?
Yeah. Tough to change tack during the middle of the season though, if they want to go chasing. I mean, and
it's not a doubt it's going to be run to suit him. Vision to Flow is really the only one I can see getting on with it. Yeah.
Unless Blue Rouge is there to make the pace for Bouvet, but it's not something he's done in previous runs. Interested to see how it's run. I'd say they'll go some kind of a gallop, and be interesting to see who's there at the final flight.
It will be a good watch. Won't be having a bet, but be watching.
Informative for the rest of the season.
Exactly. So that's the fight in fifth done with. So the next we're going to look at is the Royal Bond on Sunday at Fairyhouse. So there's no betting out for Sunday yet, so we're just going to run through the field and we'll give our view on what we think is going to run well or win. So we have Amaran, Quick Grabbin, Triple Gate, Commander of Fleet and Tint Angle. So Tom, what do you think of this one?
Fascinating race again. Some really good novices in here. As I said on the jumps preview, Commander of Fleet is one of my horses to follow for the season. I really like this horse. He won very well at Punchestown, was backed accordingly and really did the business well. He's had one spin round over hurdles. He steps up into Grade 1 company. We're going to find a lot more about him on Sunday. It's a good race. Quick Grabbin will come on for his last run. Willie seems quite keen on that. By the look of the jockey bookings as well, Ruby's on him and Paul's on Aramon, so you'd suggest Quick Grabbin will get the better of him. Triplicate's a good horse by the look of it for Joseph, and Ting Tangle is down there as well, but I really like Commander of Fleet. It's going to be tough for a 4-year-old is the only thing against the older horses, but he gets a bit of weight. He gets £3 off them for that. And I think you do the business. Probably be favourite. I think you do the business.
I'd agree with you with Commander of Fleet. I think it's just between Commander of Fleet and Quick Grabbin. Quick Grabbin he's good form, solid wins. As you say, will come on for his last run. Yeah. But I'd nail me flag down on Commander of Fleet. I think he's the exciting horse in the race. Could be anything. Commander of Fleet for me.
Commander of Fleet for both of us. He's probably going to be about 4 to 5. I'd say he might be a touch of odds on. He'd be close to even money, I'd imagine, but might be a touch of odds on. But I think he's a very, very nice horse. He's probably going to want 1 2 mile in the future, I'd say. He's won his bumper and he won that well. But I think he'll probably want a bit further down the line. Will he get away with it now? Will his class get him away with it? I think it probably will. Yeah. He won a 4-year-old maiden point to point over 3 mile on soft ground, so he's probably going to need further. But the Fame and Glories have looked pretty good to start off with. So
I'd say they might make use of him so he won't be caught for tour or anything like that.
Yeah, I imagine they'll go forward on him. And just looking actually, he made his debut over 2.5 mile over hurdle, so maybe a bit of concern dropping back to 2. But I think he's the class to get him through it, to be honest.
And the weight will help as well. with the amount of rain we're after having. So
yeah, £3 won't hurt. Better ground. Yeah, I think he's got that edge of class that we'll see. But he's one of these. If he could go and win this nicely, he'd enter the Supreme Reckoning.
Yeah.
But I think we've probably got him as a horse that will want further in time.
Probably Ballymore.
Yeah, probably a Ballymore horse. Yeah, so hopefully he can get the business done and then a step up and trip after this.
Yeah, it'll be a good watch now. See what he can produce against solid opposition. Let's be honest about it. It's no walk in the park, but he's everything there to be a top class horse.
Yeah, Quick Grabbins looked good. He beat Triplicate there easily. He was beaten against Aramon, but I think he probably get the better of him this time. It's going to be a decent, informative race anyway. Nice one to start off the card on Sunday at Fairyhouse.
Exactly. So that's the Royal Bond done and dusted. So next we're going to look at the Hatton's Grace hurdle. So again, as of now, there's no betting up for the Hatton's Grace, so I'm going to just run you through the field as it stands. So we've Baphome, Dortmund Park, Early Doors, Shane's Hill, Super Sunday, Sutton Place, Wicklow Brave, Farclas, Appleshade and Lamini. So Tom, what do you make of this?
Really good race. 10 high quality runners. Apple's Jade, she was one of my horses to follow for the season on our jumps preview, and I think getting £7, it's going to be hard to beat her. She really looked back to her best first start this season. Still jumps out to her right. Should be okay around here though. She's getting £7 as we say. It's going to be tough for them to give her that. Super Sunday though, I think this is his trip. But she put him in his place in this last year. It's his first run of the season. That's why I would favour her over him. She's a fantastic mare. She bids to emulate Limestone Lad and Solarina and Widden Free Hatton's Graces. I think she's got an excellent chance of doing so. Yeah,
I'd agree with you totally with Appleshade. The mare's allowance she's getting is robbery, more or less. As you said, she put Super Sunday in her place last season, and I can't see him turn it around with his first run of the season. There's one at a price that I think could run into place, and that's Shane's Hill. He ran well in the Stayers hurdle at Punchestown, doing the Faugheen one. He was behind Faugheen and Penhill, and he looked like something back to his best then, but he bombed out in his next run. But I think freshened up, he'd be dropped out the back, he'd be ridden for a place. So he's about, I say you get 25, 33s. I'd be interested in him at an each way price if you're staying away from Apple's Jade.
Yeah, if he was a big price, he's run very consistently before. He'd have an each way squeak. I just think the mare's a lot better than him. My each way shout. Slightly concerned that he's coming back over hurdles and not fences. He might just need this run. But a horse that's been hard to keep right, but when he's on song he's really good, is Sutton Place. He's got some top class form in the book. He was pulled up last time he was injured, but they backed him off the boards to win a really good novice chase, a grade 1 at Leopardstown at the Dublin Racing Festival. He's won grade 2s, he's won grade 3s. He was pulled up in Punchestown in April 2017 behind You Know What I Mean Harry. Slightly concerned that he might need the run, but a horse he beat over hurdles and beat him well was Kenboy. Now I know Kenboy's improved since then, but if we were talking about Kenboy winning a Hennessy off 161, then this lad would have a good chance in a race like this if he's fit and ready to go. Maybe not one to be backing on Sunday, but definitely one to keep an eye on for the future. Yeah,
he's solid chaser. He's, as you said, back off the boards last year to win his race, and he's a good animal. He's very classy. As you said, is this a prep run for something bigger and better in the future?
Yeah,
I'd imagine so.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. One down the bottom there, Limini. She ran well over the summer, won her Premier Handicap, but she would have been. I mean, we go back a couple of years. It was Apples Jade, Limini, and Vroom Vroom Mag for the Mares Hurdle all coming over. Mares Hurdle all coming over the last together. She maybe hasn't gone on as everyone thought she would. but she'd have a squeak as well, fit from her runs on the flat. She'd have a small chance each way, but a really competitive race. But I think Apple's Jade, she could bowl along out in front. If she gets an uncontested lead, I think she has a great chance.
Yeah, you'd imagine though, with the amount of Willie Mullins horses in it, there's going to be something in there to upset her. They're going to try upset her and get her out of her rhythm, because even if they try to stick something on the inside with her knowing she's going to jump out, she might start upsetting her rhythm by trying to push her back out the way and jump into them.
Yeah, I mean, Wicklow Brave can often go forward. Maybe he'll do the same, but I think she's that bit older this season, and last year she proves she doesn't have to go from the front. I think she's best from the front.
Yeah, she is.
But if Wicklow Brave wants to go on, he's not jocked up yet, but I imagine Patrick will ride him. I think
Patrick's
she'd be.
on him.
Yeah, Patrick's up on him now, is it? Yeah. I imagine Jack Kennedy will just be happy to let him bowl away, and he'll try and tuck him behind and get a nice lead off him. I think, look, she's going to be a short price. She's going to be a shade of odds on, but she's going to be tough to beat.
She's rightly odds on. Look, we're trying to put out things as value, but at the end of the day, she's the most likely winner out of the lot of them. Yeah,
she's the most likely winner. She's had a run under her belt. She ticks all the boxes.
Yeah.
Really.
Yes. Yeah, I even if you get even money, I'd be inclined to roll in at even money.
Yeah, I think I'd be amazed if you did get even money, but if you did, she'd definitely be a bet. Yeah. We're only speculating, but I imagine she'd be a shade of odds on, maybe 4 to 5, 4 to 6. Yeah.
So I'd Apple Jade and then Shane Silver at a price if anyone's fancied in each way.
Yes. There are selections for the Hatton's Grace.
So that's the Hatton's Grace wrapped up. So next we're going to go on to the Drimore Novice Chase. Now again, there's no betting for this race as it stands, so I'm going to run through the entries. So we have Blow by Blow, Cadmian, Cubomania, Delta Work, Discorama, Jatez, Larichberg, Mind's Eye, Rashan, Dawn Shadow and High Nelly. So Tom, what tickets your fancy in this one?
It's a really competitive race. A lot of nice novices from last year, or hurdlers from last year I should say, who ran well. A couple of horses that ran really well at Cheltenham. It's an open race. I don't know, at the minute maybe Larichberg. I think this might be his day. I wouldn't necessarily be following him for the rest of the season or backing him for anything at Cheltenham, but I think the middle distances are his trip. He really quickened away from Robin de Forêt last time, who's a decent horse himself in a grade 3 at Tipperary. The ground will suit him, the trip will suit him. He's probably going to be second favourite behind Delta Work, who I think is maybe a little bit short, but he was fifth in the Galway Hurdle behind Sharjah. Horse who hasn't got much experience off a mark of 140. Was quite impressive. I'd imagine going forward now, he looks to have come on a bit for fences as well.
Yeah,
he's probably looking at a 150 horse. Is that good enough to win this? Probably.
Yeah.
It'll be in around, won't it?
Yeah, you'd be up around that mark.
What I'd like this horse for as well is maybe sometime he's got a bit more experience. If they came back, his mark is still 140 over hurdles. If he came back for another big handicap, I could see him going there really well off a mark of 140. I think already he's going to have a mark of above 140 over fences, so he'd be my pick in an open but informative race.
Yeah. My pick now would be Paul Nolan's trained Discorama. So he was second to Blow by Blow at Cheltenham in the Martin Pipe, ran on very well at the end. Came out this season, won his beginner's chase and won it quite impressively, to be honest. Came there at the last, jumped, picked up and won it quite cosily. I reckon you might get 10s, 8s, 10s, and in an open race he'd be a confident pick for me. I like the way he goes about his business. I like the way he jumps. He seems like he's had to improve him again. And Brian Cooper needs a horse like this to get him back in the swing of things, and I think this could be the horse to get him there. He's a horse that no one's talking about really, but visually I like him, the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, he was 5th in the Grade 1 at Punchestown. He's got to come on a little bit. He's got to probably improve another half a stone, I'd say. But he was impressive at Naas on his tracing debut. He did quicken up well. He's by Sadler Maker. You know, he'll probably want a little bit of cut in the ground, but we'll see if we get that. He ran very well at Cheltenham. He goes under the cover really because he's trained by Paul Nolan, which is a shame. Paul's had many good horses back through the day. He's well able to get one ready for a big race. Brian's teamed up with him well. He's got a good chance. I couldn't knock him. It's a pretty open race.
There's another one on the same lines of form from the Martin Pipe. The Martin Pipe winner, Blow by Blow. I think if this horse is left alone in front, he could lead him a merry dance, and he'd be hard to peg back if he gets in a rhythm. His jumping has been so and so. Even up in Galway when he made his debut, it was the final 2 fences were a bit iffy.
Yeah.
But as of the same as last year, it took him a while to find himself over hurdles. I think this mightn't be his race, but I think he's going to come under the radar in one of the big races and take him at a decent price. So not for this race, but a few races, maybe 2 or 3 races down the line, come the Leopardstown meeting before Cheltenham, I think he could pop up and win the big races.
Yeah, I think concentration is his biggest problem. Yeah. He gave Jack Kennedy a bit of a tough time at Galway. He was just so much better than them that he was out in front so far, and he was looking around the place. I think in a better race he'll jump better. He's got a visor on, I see tomorrow. It replaces blinkers. He's had blinkers on for a good few of his runs, but he's got a visor on first time. Maybe that can give him a bit of a spark. The change of headgear. But he's certainly a very, very good horse. I can see him being bang there. If he puts it all in,
that's a big
he'd have a
bus.
cracking chance. But that's a big but. But it's an open race. And we'll see. Another little one down there is a horse called Rasha. He again, look, he's got to improve at least half a stone. He's got cheek pieces on for the first time. He'll like the ground. He's plenty of experience jumping. Sean Flanagan gets on well with him. He's a consistent horse. He always runs his race. He'll be a wild price, but he might just finish out the places. I wouldn't necessarily be backing him, but he'll be a wild price. But he'll run his race and he'll be mid-division or better, I'd imagine.
Yeah, he'd be probably road to finish well. I doubt he's going to take anything really up with the big boys.
Yeah, he's got to improve a lot, but he's worth throwing in there.
Oh yeah. My two against the field then would be Discorama and Blow by Blow.
Yeah, I'll stick with Larichberg. I think he's got a good chance. I think tomorrow could be Sunday could be his day. I wouldn't necessarily be backing him for Cheltenham. I don't know if that'd be his track quite so much as somewhere like Fairyhouse, but I think he'll be primed for tomorrow. They've said this is the plan. It's a Grade 1. Yeah, I think he'll be bang there.
Yeah, and Joseph's horses are running really well lately.
Yeah, they're flying. Just to touch on one from the week that we were talking about was Mengli Khan. I thought he made a brilliant chasing debut. He's always looked like a big scopy horse who'd love to see a fence. He travelled so well. I know it was against lesser opposition, but he really looks like one that he was third in the Supreme. He wasn't beaten that far. He doesn't have to come on that much to be an Arkle horse. And I think fences will bring out the best in him. Yeah. So he was the one from the middle of the week to look out for.
And there was 2 fences down the back straight. He went from third to 2 lengths in front, jumping 2 fences.
He just made up the lengths at them.
He was impressive. Yeah. And then the final 2 on the straight, Davey just let him get in close and learn his straight and
popped away. Yeah, I wouldn't fancy taking him on wherever he went next.
No, he looks like a proper Arkle horse, which is shaping up to be a very good race.
Yeah, so far. It's going to be another good race once they all get there in March.
So
I think that's our weekend preview
wrapped up. So again, lads, thanks for tuning in again, and myself and Tom will be back again next week with the weekend of racing again. So thanks for watching again, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.